Well, where to begin? Win one, lose one, win one, lose one. Just after I said on my Millwall vlog, my post-match thoughts after that, it was almost written in the stars that we'd lose today, so I'm hardly surprised. Um, just two completely different teams, it seems. Obviously, it's early days with a new head coach, a lot of new players. There are going to be inconsistencies, but it's just I don't know how the team can be so inconsistent. Um, just woeful today, absolutely woeful. We could have been 2-3 nil down at half time, to be honest with you. Callum Robinson had an abundance of chances and didn't take one of them, which is surprising because he loves a goal against us. Um, but yeah, I mean, we 0-0 at half time flattered us. And then Cardiff's only chance of the second half, their only chance of the second half, they put away and they deserved the 1-0 win. The penalty, I knew as soon as Dak put it in, but the whistle was blown. We weren't scoring it. I just thought it was obvious. Diaz weren't on the pitch, subbed off, and at that point you're scratching your head thinking who's going to take it. I would have thought Dak, but George Hurst steps up, and as soon as he stepped up, I just thought there's not a kind of chance this scores in, and unfortunately after that, it could really break the lad now. Unfortunately, it could really knock his confidence, just like it did for Reda Kadra last year. Um, we'll have to see how he reacts after that, but I hope he does. But he shouldn't have been the man to step up. And Dak at the age of 28, 29, whatever age he is, Gallagher at his age of 26, 27, shouldn't be leaving a 21, 22-year-old player on loan to take the ball and be putting the ball in the back of the net to steal us a point. Farcical, if you ask me. I don't care what he's doing in training, whether he's banging him in or whatever. In that sort of position, when the pressure's on, you should be looking at Dak or Gallagher to be picking up the ball there, in my opinion, or Travis, your captain. Or even like a Daniel Ayala, for fuck's sake. It's like just letting him take it. It was silly. It was an awful penalty. Perfect height for the keeper. If he goes the right way, it was an easy save. He wouldn't have even had to stick his arms out to save it. But it was farcical from the ref, really. Not playing on when the ball was in a position where he could have quite easily played on. And he probably should have just given the goal, to be honest, but the whistle was blown and you can't really do anything at that point, can you? But in terms of performances, another really poor day at the office. There's passing out the back and especially just isn't working with some of these players. Ayala in particular, that's probably the worst performance I've seen from him in a Rovers shirt, I'm going to say. He must have given the ball away at least 5 times tonight, trying to play it out from the back. He's on that left-hand side, he's right-footed, and, it doesn't suit him at the end of the day. He's an old-fashioned centre-half. He's not one to play it out the back and play pretty football. We've seen when he came to the club, his stats. He's an old school centre half. He just hoofs the ball. He's not going to be playing it about. So Scott Wharton should have been there if this is the style of football he wants to play. Have Scott Wharton there, who's a bit more competent, playing it out, who's left-footed, who's not having to play with his left foot, even though he's not left-footed. And just really, really poor from him today. And Travis, just as bad in my opinion. He gave the ball away way too many times as well. Just dilly-dallying on the ball, too heavy touches, taking too much time on the ball. And Cardiff knew exactly what they were doing today. They were just pressing us and pressing us and pressing us. And it's no coincidence at this point. I think it's there for all to be seen that I think I'm right in saying this. There may be one exception or maybe two. But I'm pretty sure every single game we've dominated this season in terms of possession, we've ended up losing it. because we cannot play with the ball. We just don't have the players. We don't have the players in midfield because we get the ball in midfield and there's no bodies there. We get swamped, and then you're just hoofing it long up front. And secondly, we don't really have the players to play with the ball. Like I've just mentioned, Ayala doesn't like to play with the ball. Travis doesn't like to play with the ball. He's useless with the ball at his feet, and he needs to be supported with two other men around him, like last season with Rothwell and Buckley in that 4-3-3 or the 5-3-2 which we played. He needs support so he can just lay it off to someone who's next to him. Nice easy ball, and then a Joe Rothwell carries it for him, or a John Buckley spreads it for him. Because Travis is just someone who's going to move the ball along. He's never going to be that guy who takes the ball and drives you down the pitch, or takes the ball and sprays it 40 yards. He's not got that in his locker. He's just simply not that good to be able to do that. He's a one-trick pony, really. He breaks up play. And Buckley went missing in this game, to be honest with you. The only good thing he did was send Tyrese Dolan down the wing with a good ball, which led to the Smodic chance, the only chance of the game we had. Smodic takes it first time. He puts more power on it. It's a goal, but he hits it quite tamely, unfortunately. And then obviously there's the penalty, but I can't complain with that today. Cardiff, you deserved the win. You should have been, like I said, 2-3-0 up at half time, but you weren't. You really shouldn't have won the second half. The second half was a 0-0 in my opinion. In terms of open play, obviously the penalty goes in, it's different, obviously, but it was a 0-0 from open play the second half. But they got their goal, literally the only chance they had, and they deserved it from the balance of play from the first half. So we move on to Saturday now, which I'm fully confident in thinking we'll win, because this is just the way things are at the minute. The inconsistencies we have with this team right now, trying to adjust to this new style of football, the new quick tempo, playing around the back, the quick one-touch, two-touch stuff, and then pass it. And I do think at home against Rotherham, we will win. And then I do think away at Wigan, we will lose. And I can see this cycle carrying on, unfortunately. But it was a shame not to break it tonight. But I mean, for all the people who are saying Dak needs to get on the pitch, complaining he's not starting, was that not enough evidence tonight that he's just not up to scratch? He did absolutely nothing all game other than cushion a ball, and his touch was that bad it went straight through to the keeper. And if that's Bradley Dack 2-3 years ago, he cushions that down and puts it in. I've no doubt about that, but he isn't that player anymore. And it's all nice, remembering how good he was. And on his day, he is one of the best players in the Championship, but he doesn't have those days anymore. At this moment in time, he is a below-average Championship player, and I think that's quite clear to see. Smodic didn't do anything today other than have that shot, the only chance we had. So if Dak was to start the next game and Smodic was to be benched, I wouldn't have any qualms about that, because I don't think Smodic has been particularly good himself, but I don't see this fascination with fans begging and pleading with JDT and taking dispute with his decisions because Dak isn't starting. He clearly doesn't have the legs for this style of football, this high-press football, and he clearly can't play a full 90 minutes. So I think we need to get off his back. We're 12 games in. We're still 6th. We will get overtook tomorrow, no doubt, and drop to 7th or 8th, but after those first 12 games, how many of us would have said we'd be, 7th, 8th, sniffing around the playoffs? Not many of us. It's been a tough first 12 games, really. And the only first game where you look at on paper and say, we need to win that, no ifs, buts and maybes, we should be winning that, is this Saturday. And if we don't win on Saturday, then I will question him, because that is a game. Rotherham at home, you need to be winning. They've appointed a new manager today, apparently. He's going to be having his first game tomorrow. And, they will have a bit of a new manager bounce, no doubt. Look to impress the new manager. but it's still a game at home we should be winning. They're not doing too bad. They're about 14th or so, but it's Rotherham at the end of the day. So no excuses there. So we move on to Rotherham and just hope that we can find some consistency soon enough. It's a teething period at the minute, which is to be expected. New head coach, new philosophy, new players. And I think the best times are to come for Rovers. I think we'll grow into this season, and I think we could end up finishing in and around the playoffs potentially. But I think, a lot of people were thinking mid-season transition this year. So we'll take that. We've got to take the rough with the smooth, and we move on from today, and let's hope for 3 points on Saturday.
It's not bloody good enough, Rovers. Oh my word. If it weren't for Kaminsky, we'd be about 6-0. They'd win us about 6-0. We were honestly that bad. Oh, I don't have any words for it. Honestly, the only good player in that game was Kaminsky, in my opinion. And obviously, he did let one in, but it was one hell of a goal. It weren't just like a little tiny goal. It was, a big goal. And fair play to the fans that have travelled down there. I mean, how many hours will it take you to get back up here? 5? You'll get back about 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, depending on traffic. So, yeah, fair play to you. But I mean, we can only hope that we're going to absolutely smash them on Saturday. Because if we don't, then I think we've already lost our place in the playoffs. Well, as 6th. I can't say playoffs because the league's not ended yet. But as 6th. But I might be wrong. I don't know. I'll have to check it now. I do think though that I think we're about 7th or 8th now after that. Honestly, it was so... I've not seen Rovers play like that in ages.
It's a project, Rover fans. It's a project, that's for sure. We're Philly Rovers of the Rover Seas YouTube channel. That's what we've been told, at least. And we've got to go through these. We've got to work through them. These tough losses, tough to take, tough to swallow. It's just, they're hard to watch. They're hard to follow. And unfortunately, you hate to see them. You win Saturday. You do the business. You hope that we can go on a streak, gain 3 of 3 yet again, and maybe do something in October to give us some really room to breathe here in the standings and do something here in this league, in this season. I don't know. Pete with Philly Rovers here, guys. I am not sure. It's tough. We honestly, what do we love more than playing out of the back? That playing out of the back thing, who was it that said it? You gotta play out of the back so you can learn how to play out of the back, because you can't just give up on that. But maybe we need to do it in practice, because it is not working. And it was a lot of turnovers today. And it was very frightening for a long time. And eventually the goal did come to fruition. And Callum Robinson, he passes it, and it was in the end, he gets the assist, and the 3 points went the Bluebirds' way today, and it was not meant to be for Rovers, the blue and whites. It was, we look now to Rotherham on Saturday, and unfortunately that call though, blast, man, that was tough. That was tough. Your one job is just don't blow the whistle. I know your job's to blow the whistle, but your real job is not to blow it. Let it play out. Guys, these stories can't write themselves. They can't happen. You don't let them happen. And in the 94th minute, why can't it be us? Why can't it be us that gets that late goal? To tie it up, to draw, to get that away point that we need, that feels almost as good as a win when you're down 1-0, you're having a horrible game, and you go home somewhat satisfied, and you take it and you play it into Saturday, and you get 3 out of Saturday, and all of a sudden you've got 7 out of 3, and you're looking up. And all of a sudden you're looking 3 out of 2, and you're like, geez, that was a long trip for nothing. I don't know. I don't know, guys. I don't know what to say. Kaminsky was doing everything he could today. He was trying. Maybe is it his decision? Is he being told to play it out of the back? Can he just kick it up out of there? I don't know. Things got to change, though. Things got to change in that respect. But besides that, though, we couldn't get it out of our side of the pitch. Couldn't get it out of our side. There was nothing going. A couple chances. I really wish Smonich had put it in the back of the net when he had an opportunity there. The writing was on the wall today. It was not meant to be, and unfortunately, we paid for it. And JDT has to go back today, and he's got to go home. He's got to get the bus home, and he's got to look at the playbook and say, not good enough. Not good enough. So, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what transpires on Saturday. Hopefully, we can come back after this. But yeah, that's it. That's all I can say. It's a tough game. It's a cruel world. The championship is hard. We know that. But you have to take advantage of these given opportunities and capitalize. There are moments. Yes, the ref may take them away from you at times. But yes, then Hurst has the opportunity to be given it back. Get that penalty. You can't miss that penalty. You can't miss that penalty. And it would have been nice. It would have been nice to tee off your career here at Rovers. Get in a groove. Oh, man. And then, who knows? Then they might be talking. Then the league might be talking. But, now they're talking the other way, and it's hard to see and hard to listen to when we know we can do this. We can do this, guys. That's it from me today, guys. Pete with Philly Rovers of the Roverseas YouTube channel. Back to work Saturday, guys. Let's go Rovers. Peace out.
Just got back in from watching the game. Excuse me for the sniffles. I've just seemed to have caught them since I went out and come back in. But, yeah, not great. I feel like everything I highlighted from Saturday's game kind of showed through, right? Making the slapping mistakes at the back. Thankfully, we didn't again get capitalised from two pieces of brilliant defender from Pickering and Ayala. But, honestly, next week or whatever, we're going to concede those goals, right? And like I said, we scored 2 goals, but we weren't, what's the word? We're not all over but we don't score the chances, we lose 1-0. What did I say? Literally the other day. And we've seen that today. The cracking goal from them. You can't fault that, ultimately. It's just what it is, I guess, at the end of the day. What do I think of the game? Again, I can see how he wants to play. There's no issue with that. But it seems very one-dimensional. We need to try and, it seems to be play out for the back or nothing. And it's like, when you get to a point where it's getting a bit dangerous, you need to be able to, especially when teams are pressing. At that point, you've got 3 or 4 players pressing you. There's the obvious ball where they're playing high up the pitch, you go along. Of course, it's not going to work all the time. And that's when you play through the lines. And when you can't play through the lines, you play over the top. And we just don't seem to be able to do that. I mean, I'm sure JDT, look, this system works. It clearly does at the top level. And I don't think we've got the players yet or the players to do that. Ultimately, it'll take time, yes, to adapt and but I just don't think we have the personnel to do it, personally. I think we'll get to a good level, don't get me wrong. I think playing out from the back is still the right idea, but you've got to be able to transition, and it's not so, not so determined just to be able to play out from the back every time, because you're not, in the Championship, you're definitely not. Everyone's such a even playing field in the Championship, innit? So, yeah, the penalty decision, I was watching it in the pub on Sky, and I was watching it with a friend, and I'm as soon as, at the end of the day, of course, the referee, we've scored a goal, he's blown the penalty. It's just one of them. Look, as a referee, you see it's an obvious penalty, and he's just blown the whistle. So you can't, you put yourself in that position, it's a really tough one to call. Okay, yeah, we scored, it's what it is, right? You take the pen. But Hirsch should never be taking a penalty. At his age, if you're 4-0 up, cool, give him the penalty, try and get his confidence going. But when you need to draw, and we've not played particularly well, okay, we've had a good few half chances. You give it to someone who's definitely scored already. So I wouldn't even give a dack, honestly. I remember when he was going off, I don't give a dack. Give it to someone who scored, a Ryan Hedges or even a Sam Gallagher. Like, okay, if he misses, it'll all be hell. But he scored. He scored this season. Hurst just keep coming off the bench, and yeah, you don't give it to a kid, especially at that pressure. Again, it was a poor pen. All the stats were suggesting that we were going to save it, weren't he? So yeah, just a poor decision, I think. Poor decision making from the team. I don't know who made the final call in the end. Was it JDT or the players on the pitch? But don't think it was the right decision to give him the pen. Again, the referee decision. At the end of the day, you put yourself in that position. It happens. Look, we should put the penalty away all day long. Yes, we did score, but that's football. And there was actually a penalty shout, or just outside. It was just outside the box, kind of a free kick where he clearly trips Sam Gallagher and he's missed it. Sam Gallagher made an idiot, kicked out, got a yellow, should have been a red, really. But so poor refereeing decisions in total. I don't know what the linesman was saying during all that. Like, clearly tripped him up. Probably just watching the game, but we've got 3 eyes on the pitch. You've got to be watching instances like that. But overall, all in essence, the Cardiff deserved to win the game. They had the better chances, albeit from our own errors. Cardiff probably think of it, it was from our passage play. Nah, it really wasn't. We've been doing this for a few weeks now and got away with it. Like, we've been playing out from the back so recklessly. And look, I advocate it. In my own team, I advocate playing out from the back, but you need to adapt. And when it becomes to a point where, like, you're not going to be always able to play out, you're just not. So you play it safe and you get it up. Because, of course, at this point, if they are in your own box, especially 3 players, when we're seeing on Saturday, 3 players around you, the play is free. And if they're being marked, if the midfielder's being marked, then it's the strikers who are free, and you get it over there and you get them running. So frustrating, and I've seen it coming, and I can just see more of it coming, to be fair. I feel like it's going to be a tough season if we're going to be playing, and we're going to be adamant playing like this and not adapting to... Look, again, playing out from the back, great. If we're not able to adapt and change the system, ultimately, have players in midfield who are able to move off the defender, after the bounce pack, make that space, create space for someone else, if not, but able to turn on the swivel and run with the ball, playing out wide, playing over the top, just a little bit more than this static, bit slow, playing out from the back that we seem to be doing at the minute. And very direct as well, in the sense of, but adamant that we're going to play out from the back. So, they're my thoughts on the game. And see you in the next review, or a vlog, we shall see.